Okay. So in this case, we have a license plate alert. Basically, a vehicle has driven in reference to a license plate camera, and we see the read of the license plate, the overview shot of the car, and then the serialization of the text data of the license plate, and a match of the individual in question. So now we can bring up the profile of the individual and see any relevant information as it relates to a ban, a trespass, or a VIP scenario as well.
Right, because a family member could be using that car, so you don't want to stop them if they're not banned,
That's
right?
correct.
Right.
Well, we could correlate family member based on the fact that they're linked to their father, daughter, sister, brother, and then do the investigation from there.
Oh, fantastic.
So in this scenario, it's tracking multiple faces and running them against the known trespass or self-exclusion list, and an appropriate alert will pop up if there is an individual match. So as we'll see, they'll come around again for a potential match.
Look at that. That is amazing.
Except we're getting no alerts. Okay.
Oh, okay, there they are. I see the alert in the corner there.
So here we've got an alert of a known individual who's entered the facility, and it's matching it against the enrolled subject in the facial recognition system. So now we can open up the profile of the individual and look at all their details as it relates to our organization. Are they good? Are they bad? Should they be in our facility? Do we need to deal with them appropriately from a security reporting perspective?
It's phenomenal, and it did it very, very fast.
So it is real-time technology. As you see, it isolates the face from the video feed on the top with the actual match face in the subject database.
Wow. That's something right out of Hollywood, because you take a look at it, you know, in the movies like Born Identity, and you see this little picture, but it looks very similar. They don't know that they're being recorded. It matched them up. It knew exactly who they were, and now it's alerted you that there's an issue. That's phenomenal.
And the opportunities don't stop at real-time alerting. You can go post-event, for example, and pull and use a face to search video now. So specifically, if something occurred and we actually missed it yesterday, we could have a face of that individual and run it through the database to find out which camera and which location the event occurred in, and now go pull the appropriate video from the investigation perspective.
Wow, that's interesting.
So rather than spending hours going through video, not knowing where that individual or event took place, now we can actually use their facial identification information to find the video and deal with an identification much more quickly and effectively.
Right, right. So surveillance cameras would be a great example of that. Rolling back surveillance cameras, running it through your database, finding out the exact time, place, where they were, what they were doing.
Absolutely.
Wow. So how long has iView been around, and what markets do you serve?
So iView is in its 10th year. We've been around since 2002, early days, and we service many markets from gaming to corporate security, healthcare, transportation, government agencies, so on and so forth. And we're installed internationally. So within Canada, United States, Caribbean, Australia, New Zealand, United Arab Emirates, for example, India, Macau, for example, we're heavily installed in those markets as well.
Wow, for a 10-year-old company, you've really exploded, I guess. So, and just from seeing some of the technology that you have around here, obviously it's a real niche market for you. Are there a lot of players in the market, or is this something that you really specialize in one particular aspect of iView?
Well, iView was born out of the opportunity in the marketplace, obviously, and we saw a need for this type of solution. There are obviously competitors in the market, which makes it a healthy market to be in. Ironically enough, they are also Canadian companies as well.
Wow.
But we do service and are really the de facto standard in gaming worldwide for the security reporting platform.
Wow, what kind of gaming aspects do you do? Because I didn't know that iView actually went in that direction.
So specifically security reporting, everything from the visitor management, work orders, lost and found, self-exclusion, ban, trespass, player management, so on and so forth. Wow. So some of our customers, our first customer was actually MGM. So we are installed in all properties in MGM worldwide at this scenario, or at this stage. So.
Really? And MGM has some locations here, so do you service them as well, like in Windsor?
Yep. So specifically Ontario Lottery Gaming is one of our bigger clients as well. So we do all the systems there for the self-exclusion management with facial recognition, and the MGM properties as well. Harrah's is another example of properties that we're also heavily installed in. In the non-gaming side, we can look at Dow Jones, for example, as one of our bigger customers in their campuses in the United States, for example, and many other customers throughout transportation, utilities, healthcare, so on and so forth.
So welcome back to Halton Tech Today. Now we're here at Xiris, and we're going to take a look at something that is really interesting with facial wiping. So thanks very much for being with us today. Maybe you could go through a little bit about what this product does, because it looks really interesting.
So the technology is intended for video of any kind that contains people. It could be surveillance footage, it could be social media footage. And really what it's about is to make it very simple to locate faces and to remove those faces. But it doesn't just remove them, it allows you to encrypt the information.
Right.
So in case you ever need to retrieve that later, for example, surveillance footage, if an incident happens, you want to remove people's faces for privacy if you're releasing that video. But what if there's a suspect in there? You need to bring that person's identity back.
Right.
So our technology allows all that information to be still present but protected, so that the privacy of everybody is protected.
I gotcha. Yeah, we've done a few companies on the show where they actually do facial recognition, but they're not doing any wiping. That information is just out there for everyone to love. So obviously this is a real hole, and I'm sure a lot of people are concerned about it. What interested me was the fact that you can unlock aspects of whatever it is that you're looking at. We were doing things with the Burlington Fire Department, and when we originally did that, it was too close to a school, so they didn't want to have children, of course, on the video, and this is perfect for that scenario.
Exactly, and I mean, there's all sorts of video where people's faces might appear, and you don't want those identities to be revealed because they have nothing to do with necessarily the purpose of the video.
Sure.
And so the purpose of what we do is to make it very simple to protect those people's identity. If you try to do this manually, if you try and go in and wipe everybody's face, it would take forever. It would take hours and hours for just a minute of footage.
Right, right. And are you looking at a lot of money for that type of technology, usually?
Well, we find that the interest is very wide. I mean, in government sectors which are under freedom of information legislation,
right.
There may be requests for footage inside facilities if there's an incident. They're obligated to release that, but at the same time, they can't compromise people's privacy who are in there.
Right.
So that's one area. But also in the private sector, there's surveillance. But now social media, as you know, everybody's shooting video, and people can't be compromising other people's privacy.
Right, and I think what everyone needs to understand is the things that that Google and YouTube offer is completely different than this technology. Maybe you could just explain the difference.
Right, so YouTube just came out with a face blurring technology. Right. The difference with what we do is that we're not just removing faces, we're encrypting the information. So if you need to transmit this information but in a protected form so that only certain people have access to the content, that's where we're going an extra step. The information is not lost. If you just blur it the YouTube way, it's gone forever. Encrypting it in the way that we're doing it allows an authorized person to retrieve that information. So in surveillance footage, for example, you have a suspect, you want that person obviously to reveal their identity, or a bystander who later you found out was a suspect. You know, you don't want to make a mistake there. With the right key, you can retrieve the information.
That's excellent. Now, can you just walk us through, I know you have something up on the screen, but walk us through how this would actually work, because I found it real interesting with your original video footage. You're basically just taking regular video footage, you could do this on your own digital camera at home, plug it into this product, and all of a sudden it starts tracking where the faces are.
Exactly.
It looks interesting.
So it's really simple in that when you launch the software, we'll see here. When you launch the software, you just can load any piece of footage, and what it will do is it will automatically track the faces. So it will locate the faces and it will track them. And you don't have to do anything for this. You just click open, load, and let it go. And once it's done this, it will have located all the faces, and it will show them as a track.